start off with, I think one of the most significant things that I've learnt from my audience feedback is information that they would expect from my media product. So, for instance, when my group and I were initiating ideas for our band and for the music video, we would ask our potential audience quite basic questions such as their age, their gender, in which case we analysed these, and it came about that the average age would be around 16 to 25, and predominantly a few Again, we really culminated the ideas of age and gender, in which case it was just consolidated through gaining this feedback once more. Moreover, race, we got quite mixed answers and responses from our second survey, and it came across that the general race of our audience would be quite mixed in terms of white British to African to Latin American, partly I think Central African as well. And so being able to get this feedback allowed us to also represent our audience through our music video. So initially our band consisted of mostly white British actors, and through this audience feedback we allowed us to justify reasons why we changed our actors to make it more mixed in terms of white British and European / African, African Caribbean, to make it a more moulded and rounded representation, especially of youths as well. Geo-demographic and mosaic. Mosaic is a way in which you can identify specific audiences or a population. So we came across, by analysing our the geo-demographic profile, it came across that we would have mostly not so much elite couples, but quite working class or middle working class, or urban city populations. And this was very much reflected in our music video, in the sense that we used a lot of city scenes, such as going around Ladbroke Grove and Portobello, where we had a combination of races as well and of a population, but also in the final scenes such as Piccadilly Circus, in which case we filmed the vibe and the buzz of the city, and so by having this audience feedback, we managed to reflect all of these ideas into our music video in quite a professional way, and a very representative and just way. And so ideas from our pre-production surveys were very much useful in terms of fine-tuning ideas and representations of certain groups of, so in our music video we used representations of youths mostly in terms of a female perspective of youths in what I'd say in like contemporary times or in the 21st century, as well as male perspectives in terms of, well, for the female the objectification, and for the males it would try not to conform to negative stereotypes. And so, to forward on to our post-production surveys, I have images of this as well to document our responses. The post-production questionnaire was equally as important as gaining the pre-production, given that we could culminate responses and answers after making the media product and to find out how our audience was able to identify with the representations that we created based off not of their own ideas but how we developed their ideas as well and put them all into our music video. So the majority of respondents could identify the fact that our music video was based off of the pop rock musical genre, and this was shown through symbols such as instruments, costume as well. One mentioned lighting as well, open lighting and location, which goes on to the second question as well about actors and locations. Many of our respondents found that our actors were quite representative of some races and also conforming to the genre of pop rock, as well as music videos. Moreover, as some questions were quite specific in this post-production questionnaire, such as which features or scenes of the music video did you identify with? One respondent answered in terms of the youths and young people having fun, especially when they were busking, so busking in Portobello Road. This is not only an aspect of youth culture in terms of having fun with your friends or perhaps work colleagues, but it also conforms to the genre of pop rock and pop rock music videos in terms of performance. And so we just had questions as well, such as media language and how creative we were. Again, response felt that we were very creative, and this was reassuring as well. However, and that was due to a range of different shots that we used and effects through editing, as well as the natural lighting, which we paid careful attention to, as well as costume. One thing that I would like to pick up on, though, is improvements, and that would also be more editing techniques, and I suppose more professional editing techniques. There's one scene, I think the split screen, which I would still like to improve on, as I find it a bit too amateur, or the way in which we have the black and white effect along with the natural lighting effect in the same shot doesn't quite work or complement each other very well, despite the effect we're trying to create. And again, a prominent answer was better camera quality. And I think this goes down to some of the handheld shots that we use, especially when our actress was running and the camera person would be running alongside her, and rather than using more high-tech equipment such as a GoPro camera, we carried on using our SLR camera, and this wasn't as effective as perhaps the high-tech GoPro camera could have been. And so these minute improvements highlighted from our audience are just one of many things which we learned from our audience feedback, and which how we can improve our media products and continue to develop our media products as well.